Welcome to the Opinionated Aussies.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Opinionated Aussies. We're back at it again. I'm your host, Adrian, joined as usual by my co-host Jordan.
Hey guys.
And frequent guest, probably going to basically be the other co-host at this rate, Aden.
How you going?
Today we are also joined by our good friend, Trent. How you going, Trent?
Yeah, good. Thanks for putting me on. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
You're perfect for today's episode, I'll tell you that right now. Before we get into today's episode, how are we doing, fellas? How's the week been treating you?
Well, as good as it can get, mate. As good as it can get.
Yeah, been working all week and we're looking forward to this. Yeah.
And Aden?
Yeah, it's been quite busy, mate, but busy's always good, makes it go quicker.
Oh yeah, easy. So before we get into today's episode, let me tell you a ripper of a fucking story. You're going to absolutely love it. Jordan's already got a very good idea of what happened. So, we all know what mosquito coils are, right? Like, for those of you that don't know, that are listening to this, mosquito coils are things that you light, and they slowly burn, and they create like an aroma that wards off mosquitoes, right? So, we got a pack of them in. We opened the box, everything was fine. But then we opened, because they come in individual like plastic bags in the box, right? We opened the plastic bag, and lo and behold, this motherfucker's broken everything inside, right? I'm pretty sure you all know what that's like. You open it up, and every single one of them is useless. Like, pretty sure Aden can attest to that as well. Yeah. So, me, I'm not going to suck my own dick. I'm not that stupid. But I was trying to light them individually, just these small pieces. And because I was spending a lot of time outside, whenever one finished, I would relight another small fragment. Mother, in her infinite wisdom, came out and was like, why are you doing it like that? Here. So the way that we work in Australia is we have little metal tins that you put the mosquito coils in so that the smoke and the aroma can go out. They have two parts. You have a big top part that covers it, and a bottom one you put it on. Mum grabs the top bit without the bottom part and throws all the broken bits in this top bit and then lights it on fire. Right?
Okay.
So, it wasn't bad, obviously because of the way the mosquito coils are designed, the fire didn't stay lit and they just started burning slowly. We went inside, there was no drama. I came back in because I was doing something else at the time. Half an hour later, knock on my door. Adrian, you gotta come see this. I was like, oh, what'd you do? Turns out that Mum's brilliant idea resulted in a fucking fire.
Fire?
Right? The mosquito coil lid was put next to our coffee table outside. And at one point, because we all know how embers can catch things on fire, right? With a nice breeze, you can get a fire from just some embers. That's what happened.
Oh, God.
There was apparently a geyser coming out of this mosquito coil lid. And it got blown onto our coffee table. The coffee table was... she fucked. It was on fire when Mum came outside.
Oh, God.
So keep in mind, this coffee table has a metal frame, we found out. We didn't know it was a metal frame before this, so this is how you know it's bad. And it's covered in a plastic material that's made to look like thatch. You weave thatch in and out of each other to make it work, yada yada. The thatch is plastic, so that bastard melted. And it had tempered glass on the top. What happens to tempered glass when it goes from one extreme heat to another?
Goes kaboom.
Mum grabbed the hose. And the way I would describe it is by the point that it got to, the tempered glass shattered. It did go bits and pieces here and there, but it mostly just fell. And I'm about to go on my phone and put an image of it into our Discord so we can get Aiden's reaction to it. But no word of a lie, I came out, I looked at this and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Not only did we lose this coffee table, we lost pretty much everything that was on it, which included The glass ashtrays were fine. I'll say that now. The glass ashtrays didn't go up in smoke and melt and shit. So they're still good. But we had a metal ashtray. She proper fucked. We had 2 jet lighters on the table. They were gone. I had a leather pouch. I've now got a new one. And a couple of lighters. And a bar mat from Jack Daniels. All gone.
Well,
Yeah.
aren't you just glad that it was just a small table that's sitting outside in the garage and not inside the house?
So yeah, I just put the image up on Discord. This is the aftermath. Aden, what do you think?
I don't know. It looks. Yeah, it's fucked. Holy shit.
Wow. Just wow. That's. I've got no words.
No, that's proper fucked. That's, that's not half fucked or, just a little bit fucked. That's
Proper fucked.
That's proper fucked.
So
That was a good table.
It was. It was a great table.
it was an awesome table. Rest in peace, you beautiful bastard. So a lot of negatives came out of this. I got one positive out of this. On the table, there was a pouch of herbs that I'd been meaning to throw out. I don't have to do that now. So yeah, that's my story for the week. Can you top that one?
No,
Nah.
but I'll give you one. I don't know if I told Aden this, but with the new industry that I want to get into, I've got to do inductions and stuff to get out on site, Aden.
Yep.
So they've sent me through my logins and all this sort of stuff to log in and get all these inductions done. And
Yeah.
in there, it's got a list of recommended courses to do and like what urgent courses there are and all that sort of stuff. So I was thinking, it's very generic or not very site specific. So I end up doing 2 whole site inductions for 2 different sites, thinking, okay, I'm all good, I'm sweet as. I got a phone call from my employer and I was talking to him about it, and he said to me, he goes, Jordan, the 2 that you've done is great. I really, commend you for doing that and taking the time. That's great. But they're not the 2 sites you'll be on. You'll be on this other site. So here I am, spent 8 hours, maybe 10 hours in total doing these inductions, going, sweet, yep, everything's in order, I'm good to go. To be told I've got to do another 10 hours of training.
Yeah.
So, when he told me that, I sort of went red in the face and got a little bit embarrassed and just went, well, fuck me. I looked at it, I'm like, you know what? Close the laptop. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not even going near that. I'm doing something else. I've just spent 10 hours doing training. I'm not doing another fucking 10 hours of training right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my fuck up of the week.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, mine wasn't even my own fuck up. Mine was just, I was there. I saw it.
You contributed to that.
I did absolutely none of that shit, thank you. I had nothing to do with that.
I don't know. I think you contributed just a little bit. You started lighting the Mozzie coils.
Because I didn't want to waste them. You can attest to this. You get something, you don't want to waste it if you spent money on it, no matter how much. Unless you literally buy it for the purpose of wasting it. AKA that's tobacco, because that just goes in our lungs and shit.
Yeah, that's another topic for another day.
Another topic for another day. But yeah, you don't want to waste it. So why would I want to waste them? And plus, these were the ones that were scented to be, they smelt real nice. They weren't the normal ones. They were the ones that smelt real good.
Yeah.
So it's like, bruh, I don't want to waste them. Alright. No stories from, have you got stories, you two? Aden, Trent?
It's all been work and stuff I can't really talk about. So, just run-of-the-mill sort of stuff for me at the moment. Yeah.
And Aden, nothing from you?
Nothing from me. I'm just sitting back watching Carl Anthony Towns kill it on the 3-point contest.
Yeah, right.
Go Paddy Mills.
Go Ben Simmons.
So with all the shenanigans for this
Subject
week
change.
out of the way, let's get into today's topic. There is a reason we've got you here, Trent.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Today's topic is world perspective. Jordan, if this was your topic, do you want to elaborate on it a little bit more before we get into it?
Okay, so I guess my take on it would be your view on the world, past, present, future. Where do you think you're going to see us as people, on a global stage in 10, 20, 30 years? How far have we evolved from Dave the Caveman to, the Industrial Revolution to, where we are today, all the technological advancements we've made, and, where we're going in 20, 30, 50 years. Are we going to slowly die out? Are we, past the point of change? What do we do as an individual person to, help stop our carbon footprint?
All that stuff.
So, all the fun stuff.
So long as we don't get too morbid, I think we're on a good topic, honestly. Especially that whole die out part. I think I'll leave. If we bring that up later, sure, we'll talk about it. But I'm going to try my damnedest to avoid that because, yikes, man. We haven't even hit 30. Calm the fuck down. Well, any good place to start is fine by me. But I think this time I'm going to let Aden take the reins and start us off. Aden.
Before we start here, I think I think as we have in Trent technically, we don't know much about him. I think we should talk more about Trent. I wanted to say it before, but you guys were talking, and it's hard for me to say anything when you were talking. So I think we should hear just a little bit about Trent first, because no one knows who Trent is.
I mean, that's...
Yeah, who is Trent?
Yeah, who is Trent?
Trent's is Goliath.
Well, yeah, basically I've known Aden.
Trent.
Aiden,
Trent.
say that again.
Say it again, Trent.
I said Trent about 5 times. Trent, before we start your little introduction, I'd like you to start us off with this topic. And the reason being is I think probably you and Jordan are probably the best 2 people to talk about this topic.
I mean, I hate to admit it, but there's a reason I'm now sitting back further from the mic. I'm just going to get comfortable. Alright, Trent.
Probably for the past 5 or 6 years. Yeah, for the past 5 or 6 years, Jordan, Adrian, Aden, myself have been talking about these issues at your old place. So this is nothing new what we're talking about, but it's new that we're talking about on this sort of forum. I think where the world is heading.
Trent, you got to introduce yourself first. Don't get into the topic yet. Aiden wants you to introduce yourself so the viewers at home have an idea of who you are.
Okay, my name's Trent. I'm 29. I work in the mental health sector as a registered nurse at an inpatient unit. I've known these boys for probably about a decade, and they're really good friends of mine.
Has it been that long?
Fuck, he's not wrong. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
about a decade. Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Do you feel old yet? I sure do.
Jordan, do I have to reiterate that I do always
sorry,
feel
Grandad,
fucking old?
sorry,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've known these guys for ages. Basically, I knew Aden first. We were both really into sports, had common interests, and then met Jordan. We got along really well. Same with Adrian, and we've just been hanging out ever since, And, yeah, that's pretty much our friendship, Go out and do stuff together, laugh. Weekend with the boys, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. Poke fun at each other.
Yeah,
Go out to the pub, have a few...
I think my biggest accomplishment with you, Trent, was when you actually started swearing around us.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was a momentous occasion.
Because that moment that it happened, it was like, finally, thank fucking Christ, he's out of his shell. Jesus,
Yeah.
get him out.
I'm very quiet, but when I'm out of my shell, I can't shut up. Yeah.
We know.
Yeah.
We know. Anything else we should know about you, Trent, before we go on? You got nothing you'd really want to add to that?
yeah,
What
that's
are, what
about
are your hobbies and interests, Trent?
my hobbies and interests. Yeah, I love following sports. I love following politics, photography. Yeah, and helping the community in my work, in mental health and disability. Yeah, and aged care that I've worked in. So yeah, they're my real passions about seeing society improve and well-being and things like that. So yeah, that's my interest. Yeah.
So give back to the community
Yeah.
as much as you take.
That's very
and
much a
stuff.
part of my work and,
Yep.
and where I want to spend my work for my entire working life. Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
well,
So I'm not really a corporate sort of guy. I'm more of a sort of that. Yeah.
I
That
think
hands-on,
I
want to be with
yeah.
patients, help them
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good idea of who you are.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point to leave that off with.
Yeah.
Let's get into today's topic. Let's finally get into it because, shit, I just looked at the amount of time we've spent chatting.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, my story took up like 6 fucking minutes, so that's fair enough. So world perspectives. Aden wants Trent to go first. I reckon that's a good idea because as Trent is our guest and has probably one of the, I guess, wider views of the world, it's probably best to start us off. So, kick us off, Trent. Get into it.
Well,
What's your view of the world?
it's a
Trent?
very broad topic, but you gave me a few questions to go by. Where is the world heading? Some of the negatives. Well, climate change is a big issue in the world. The well-being of the planet, the ecosystems. So, yeah, that's something that I think is really forefront of going forward as a human species. I think technology is definitely overtaking the world, good in a good way and in a bad way.
I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but I thought of this before and I wanted to say it when Jordan brought it up, but we weren't onto it yet. The best example I can give us is, we weren't around. Way back, supercomputers were not a thing. Alright, the supercomputer that they used at NASA back in the 60s when they did the moon landing,
Yeah.
that type of technology is now equivalent to something you can have in your goddamn hand. It's amazing when you look at the advancement. The best thing in the world. Another thing, you go even further back. Look at the time frame between when they invented airplanes to when we had a man on the moon. That's not a giant time frame. That's not even a full lifetime.
Oh, it's amazing the progress that we've made through technology, and I think there are a lot of great things in technology that have, been highly beneficial toward the human species.
Well, see, one thing that sticks out to me, right, is I don't know how factually true it is or not. I did watch it on a video going back about 6 years ago, but a motivational speaker that I used to watch said if we compress how long we've been on this earth into a full day, 1 day, 24 hours, we've been on this earth for 3 seconds.
Well-
You look at that, the Industrial Revolution, in that sort of sense, was like a second and a half ago.
Well, when you look at the history of the world and the universe, it really is 3 seconds. We haven't been here for
We
very
haven't-
long at all. It's
yeah.
a very short period of time. Life is short. Yeah.
I mean, that last statement's especially true because how much has humankind accomplished compared to the average lifespan of someone these days? You'd be amazed at how much humanity can accomplish in a single lifespan. We've been here for fucking yonks. I don't want to go into technicalities and all that because I don't want to give actual numbers.
Well, you look
because-
at our life expectancy back in the, 30s, 40s, 50s, a midlife crisis was at 30. That's sort of where that saying come from. We
Yeah.
only lived to be between 60 to 80 years old. It wasn't very
Yeah.
common for people to live to 100. Nowadays, with the technology and medications and the advancements we've made,
especially in medicines as well.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
We're living so much longer.
Well, humans are living longer. Yeah, it's true. And like our aged care systems and things like that. Yeah, they're trying to work these problems out real time, next now 10, 20, 30, 40 years.
I'd like you to keep going, but I just realised the three of us have been talking, and ever since he suggested it, he hasn't really had much to say. Aden, carry on from where Trent was going if you could, or add to it if you want.
It's a bit different, but it's kind of still on the same sort of topic. One thing that I've sort of always wondered, how the hell the Egyptians built those pyramids when you guys say, technology and stuff and advancements have grown so much these days, they'd need nearly... It's been proven that they would have machinery or something to build those pyramids. So it's... How do they do it? That's what's on my mind at the...
Yeah, definitely I can see that. Like, the limestone blocks that they used to carve the pyramids were cut with such precision that I'm not even sure today's technology could cut it.
There is another one similar to the pyramids that boggles scientists to this day. The Mayan temples predates a lot of Egyptian architecture, but they're even better refined and better carved, and even to this day, their ruined state, there's something about them that makes you go, wow. And the pyramids do that to this day. The Sphinx in particular. We have all seen photos of the Sphinx. We know what that bastard looks like.
Well, look at the Great Pyramid, for example.
The Great Pyramid of Giza, I think is where you're going for that one.
But, the Great Pyramid, if you were... I don't know the actual equation, but I think it's something along the lines of, if you were to times the Great Pyramid's circumference by pi and expand it, it would literally cover the world.
That's no word of a lie.
They were done with such great precision, and if you were to stand in the bottom of the pyramids and look up, you could actually see the different constellations that we have for our star signs, Cancer, Taurus, stuff like that. You could see that through the top of the pyramid. They align directly at each time of the year. You can see each different constellation.
And the workmanship that would have went into that. The amount of time, effort, people would have died from...
Well, archaeologists have sort of said that, the pyramids, or I think it was the Great Pyramid or something like that, was built in 20 years. To look at the structure that it is, to be built in that sort of time frame,
in that time period,
it's unfathomable that that's how it's come about.
And there's other examples too that we can look at from the years. I mean, Stonehenge, or Stonehenge, I don't know.
Yeah, Stonehenge.
Stonehenge, sorry. Even the Great Wall of China. You got all these amazing things, and you just look at them and go, how? Just like, instead of the wow, when you start to think, you go, how?
Well, what are the heads on Easter Island or something? They are. We've only just discovered them. The big heads that are 20 foot tall.
I just remembered what you were talking. I was reading about that. I didn't finish reading the article on it because I think I read it at work, and obviously when you're at work, you have to put down your phone when you're reading something. That kind of goes back to the whole supercomputer in your hand thing. But it's just so amazing how much they keep discussing. I remember there was one article in particular. They said they found a lost city under Japan in the ocean. That blew my mind. And that's another thing in terms of world perspective. The scariest thing about our world isn't how fast we accomplish achievements as humans. It's not what we've built. It's not what we've done. The scariest thing is that goddamn blue sea of ours. What is in there and how deep it goes.
Well, we know more about space than we know about the deepest parts of our ocean.
Yeah, and that's
crazy.
And because the thing that got me started on this is not in terms of world perspective, this one, but I'm just giving some background. What got me started on this, like, looking into the ocean, was when I was looking into the wreckage of the infamous Titanic. We all know the story, 1914, hit an iceberg on its maiden voyage, went down into the sea. That motherfucker's 10,000 plus feet deep. And that's not even the deepest wreckage they've found. There have been deeper from earlier and later. Like, it's when you just look at it and then you think, what else is down there? Because there's one person that said, this is the deepest wreck. I believe he said it was at the 30,000 feet mark. That's that's so bad. But then he goes, there's even deeper depths of the ocean that we still are yet to discover. What the fuck is down there?
I'm not sure on the actual percentage, but I think it's something like 3% that we've only discovered of the oceans.
And that doesn't include, what lives in it. There is a massive reason a lot of people have a fear of the ocean, the unknown. The most unknown thing about our world isn't even our own society and its evolution.
Yeah.
It's what's in that water. It's like that scene from Seven. What's in the box?
That's a pretty good estimate that Jordan come up with. Yeah, I don't know the exact number, but it's certainly around.
No, he's pretty on the ball.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, he's on the ball, as in that's pretty damn close. Because I don't have a number on me, but that's 3%. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, world perspectives. At the moment, we're merely putting forward more mystery than anything else.
Well,
the mystery of our planet and what it's been through, because I mean, we're just a speck in the form of how long this planet has been in the ecosystem, how long this planet's been in our solar system. We are just a speck, and we're still discovering things from before mankind even evolved. It's just terrifying. I don't want to go too far back, obviously, because then you just go, here we go, dinosaurs. There's a whole movie series on how that's not a good thing. So we're not going to get into that one.
Dave the Caveman.
Yeah, so, I mean, but the world is mysterious. And in my world perspective, I'm never going to learn all the mysteries of the world, because by the time the whole world's mysteries have been solved, I think we're all going to be long dead. There's the morbidity. We're not bringing that up again. But by the time this world's mysteries are unraveled, we're just going to be bones or less. And that's the scariest. That's what makes me most scared about our world. Because I want to learn so much about this ball that we live on in our galaxy.
Well, coming a bit closer to home, to Australia, right?
Yeah.
I did see it as somewhat on Facebook, I think it was, but I didn't research anything behind it. But if you were to visit one beach in Australia every day, so you travel to a different beach in Australia every day, it would take you something like 23 years or thereabouts. Don't quote me on it.
Actually, but
it's quite a prolonged period of time for you to visit every beach in Australia.
To be fair, that doesn't sound so far-fetched. I mean, there's a town near us. There's actually two towns near us. They're about the same distance, but you can travel between them as well. I won't say where they are. Can't be asked. But look at the amount of beaches between them two. Exactly.
Well, that's right. Yeah, in central Queensland, like how many beaches are there from, Byfield, for instance, down to
Keppel Sands,
Gladstone type,
Gladstone,
Man, you're going even further than I thought you would.
Well, that's all CQ area.
Yeah, I know. It just blows your mind.
Yeah, so, you were to spend one day at every different beach. I don't think it would be that hard to rack up a couple of decades to travel that. And that's just in, Queensland, for instance. You had to go to the NT, Western Australia, South Australia, New South Wales.
It's just such a shame that a lot of places that we talked about with beaches and that, you got to keep your mind on the fact that, crocs and freshwater sharks, jellyfish. Again, back to the ocean being dangerous and mysterious.
Well, look what happened in Sydney earlier this week.
Shark attack.
A lady died from a shark attack.
Oh man, lately there's been so many deaths around, but we're not going to get into that one. Alright, let's move on from geography. We've kind of been focusing a lot on geography more than anything else.
Yeah.
From past to present.
Look at our world now.
Yep.
And as a functioning human society, a functioning society, your views on it. I mean, I would like to hear Aden's first, because again, Aden's not talking as much as us. So, how do you view our present society, our present world?
Oh, look. There's good, there's bad, and there's in between. Because, there's a lot of good in the world. I don't know, it's... One thing that I don't like created a lot of issues.
Aden, you keep cutting out on us.
Do I?
Yeah. Randomly, it'll be in the middle of a sentence and you just go silent.
Okay.
Yeah. I just heard good and bad.
Indifferent.
And I think that's where it cut off.
Yeah, right.
I know you want to talk fast, but just try and slow it down a bit.
Slow it down a bit, you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to work a lot better.
Alright, so basically what I was saying was I don't like the whole evolution of political correctness.
I think that...
Yes, that's...
I mean, where that sentence cut off, I don't know what you said after political correctness, but I think that was like the perfect full stop there, personally.
Yeah, definitely.
That was where I put the full stop.
Oh. World perspective and political correctness can kind of go hand in hand. I guess we could potentially talk about that. Personally, in my opinion, I did the thing for the show. PC, there's good to it. I won't lie, there is some good to it, but a lot of people abuse it. I feel like it's abused more than it's actually properly used. Because PC, it's difficult for me to put this into words because I know people are going to get angry at it. I'm 100% sure I'm going to piss people off. But I believe political correctness, to a T, is just bullshit. Because of the fact it's not used correctly and in the right moments. There are moments where PC is not necessary, but people throw it in and it's bullshit. Because you're basically putting other people down so you feel correct. And there's just so many layers to this of why it's bullshit. But again, I don't want to go into it a lot because I'm trying not to get us cancelled. I really don't want to get us cancelled over it.
But see, that's where it becomes an issue, is that the people that are offended... So you said you didn't want to go into that because people get offended by it. But
yeah.
that's the whole thing of political correctness, is the people that get offended say it's because it's the PC sort of...
I know, that's why it's a difficult topic to talk on. It's a difficult thing to describe, how I feel.
Okay, so I want to try and, I guess, elaborate and put it into a different perspective.
Another thing about the episode.
You're at a black tie ball, right? You know what I mean by black tie? It's
fancy dress, yeah.
Fancy dress, full three-piece suit, up and down. If you're at a black tie event, something that is very formal, you're not going to be out there using your bogan language, getting drunk and swearing at people, harassing people. You're going to watch your P's and Q's. You're going to act appropriately. The way I see it is, if I'm at a black tie event, I'm dressed head to toe in a three-piece suit, but you're there as the backyard yobbo going off about the price of VB and a pack of durries. Overly simplistic, I know, but paints a picture. You're that bogan / redneck type of person going, I'm entitled to this, or a carton of piss and a pack of Winnie Blues cost too much when you're at a black tie event. In that sense, I believe that yobbo should be kicked out. because it's not. You're not watching that.
So I think I see where you're going with this. The way people are applying that, they're not applying it to just those events. They're applying it to
the
every
world.
event.
That's right.
So
sometimes it's not necessary, but I am a firm believer that sometimes it is necessary.
See, I can agree with you on this one because
so can I.
Because there are moments where yes, it's necessary for this to be a thing. You know, for you to pull your head in, basically, and act responsible, mature, look the part, yada 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 yada. This is where I thought when you said the yobbo talking about the price of EB and pack of durries, I thought you were like, Adrian, this is you.
Yeah.
I was about to go, fucking excuse me. But when you put it like that, if you think the way that they're doing this, the whole world is a black tie event, and you're not allowed to do any of that stuff. But that's why I say it's bullshit, because you're not going to always be formal and mindful. You're going to... right now, I mean, this is the perfect setting for us. We can do whatever we want. We're in the backyard, basically, doing this podcast. Aiden's in his home. This is probably the best place for anyone to do whatever, because it's your own home. Do whatever the fuck you want. But everyone's trying to go, no matter what, you can't do that because it's not politically correct. Fuck your political correctness. I'm right at home. I'll do whatever I want. Obviously, of course, when it comes to certain things about when you're home with political correctness, they can apply. So, Facebook, social media, we did this topic not too long ago. That's a place where political correctness is thriving hard. So many people are going to that to put their views of what is right and wrong into perspective, and they will fight to the T for it. There is no way around it.
So I've got a saying for you. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has got one. With that being said, not every opinion is correct.
No.
No, definitely not. No.
You know, someone could, I don't know, be in their 50s, 60s, 70s. You know, they grew up in a completely different time. You know, they're going to have their own opinions and voices on certain topics that us today, as whatever generation we are, Gen Z or millennials, I don't even know.
I believe we are the millennials, and
we will
my
have
little brother's Z.
a completely different view on the world. Now, that person can have their opinion, whether, you know, back in the streets of Melbourne when young people were growing up, back in the 50s and 60s, they would go out and bash people for being homosexual or be part of a gang where you had to have your head shaved, and if you grew hair, you got bashed by a rival gang. You know, people that grew up with that have a very different viewpoint and opinion on the world to what we do. Now, us as a society have evolved, but with that old person and that older mentality, a lot of us now realize that is not right. That is not okay. It's not the right way to think. But, you know, there's 7-odd billion people on the planet.
You're not going to please
not two people are going to share the exact same ideologies and ideas and views on the world.
I mean,
everyone's got an opinion, and it's fine if you want to express your opinion, but you should do it in a way where
it's respectful of others.
That's right. You're not going to go out and just start bashing people for their sexuality, for instance.
No. I mean, if you did that these days, you
would get cancelled.
You'd get cancelled, go to jail.
You'd go
have
to
a
court
hate
and get
mob.
the book thrown at you.
There's a good chance that you'd actually become a victim yourself because you made someone else that had no right to be one be a victim. No one has in my the way I see it, no one has a right to be a victim.
You go, Aden.
I'm just enjoying listening to you two talk, to be honest.
I mean,
But-
I didn't think I'd talk this much this episode personally, but here I am.
Trent, what's your views?
But I think with
Here we go, Trent.
like
Yeah, you
that,
go.
that superficial political correctness, like kids' story, like changing a kids' stories book, which has been around for a period of time, which is
Baba Black Sheep.
just things like that. Like I think that's just really silly political correctness. That's really silly. But
Agreed.
political correctness has its place when it's like severe racism, all those, violence, etc. Those things that were a thing of the past that were ingrained really much in that 20th century, 90th. It goes back and back and back. But now like you said, Jordan, we've evolved, and so that's where I stand. Yeah.
There's a time and a place for it, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of time and place, I'm going to reel us back towards the topic. We've kind of gone on the tangent of PC. That's okay. It's part of the world at the moment. So getting our perspective of what PC is and our opinions on it's okay. But let's go back to the topic at hand. I want to push us forward. So now we've covered the past of what we view our world. We've covered the present. And honestly, by the sounds of it, to simplify our present view of the world, it's bullshit.
Cunt's fucked.
So let's move forward. And I mean, literally. How are we viewing the future of our planet? And let's not go into global warming and that, please.
Okay, I won't go. Well,
it's done to death.
Okay.
No, I really have to disagree there.
Fair enough.
Before I go, I will mention climate change because it is a part of what's going on in the world at the moment. But with technology, I know you're a big technology man, Adrian. You love your technology.
Yeah, we can't deny
like
that.
artificial intelligence. Cars with no drivers. Computers that are completely upgraded more than we have now.
I mean,
that is the future, and like potentially a workforce, lots of jobs may be going. You know what I mean? Because they may not be required. I'm talking like 50 years away, 100 years away.
Oh,
it
Trent,
may be sooner than we think.
You gotta backtrack a little bit there from the amount of time you just gave us there.
Yeah.
So as you said, big tech thing. My opinion, technology is going to rule us one day. There's two movies that come to mind that give us the perfect example of this. No, that movie's garbage. By the way, I don't like it.
well, fuck your movie opinion. Hey?
No. We've got two movies. You got Wall-E, kids movie. Everyone knows it, where you see humanity basically lives in their chairs.
Haven't seen it.
Watch it. It's actually not a bad movie. It's pretty
No,
hard.
fuck you. You said iRobot sucked. Fuck your Wall-E.
Fine. I'll rewatch iRobot just for you. The other one that comes to mind, this one's a bit more morbid. You mentioned AI. Skynet's coming. Terminators are coming. We're so screwed. Arnold Schwarzenegger's going to beat down my door in the future saying, your child will raise the resistance. No, you bloody won't. He's a little bastard. But AI technology is dictating, well, it's going to dictate our future. Not to the point where we're gonna let it consume us, but I think it's gonna become even more convenient. Because at the moment, convenience of technology is mind-blowing when you compare it to even 20 years ago when we were all kids. And because of how far we keep advancing, cars that drive themselves are a thing. On mine sites right now, there are trucks that are remote controlled from Brisbane in areas close to where we are, and we're not close to Brisbane. Well, we're relatively close to Brisbane, but we're not close to Brisbane.
Truck drivers, yeah.
So, you saying jobs becoming obsolete due to technology advancements?
Not all jobs, but
not all jobs, but there's
Yeah.
a lot that are going to be very obsolete in the next not 50 to 60 years.
Bus drivers.
We're going to start
trucks.
seeing it a lot more in about 20. A lot more.
And you're right, it's a lot closer than we think. And that's what a lot of sort of contemporary modern futurists are saying at the moment. Yeah.
I mean, there's this thing about I saw. It's a very interesting thing to look at. When
Just want to cut you off for a second there. You're talking about contemporary modern homes, right? Smart homes. You have just about everything controlled via an app on your phone. Lights turn on and off, fans, air cons, you name it. All the modern creature comforts are controlled in the palm of your hand, or on a little base station, whatever, in the house somewhere. You wouldn't have that in 30, 40 years ago. The houses built back then, your typical old Queenslander where you had the massive internal veranda was actually designed to be sleep outs for when it was hot, so you could have that air ventilation coming into the house. Because ceiling fans weren't prevalent back then.
Ceiling fans weren't even in every house. You'd be hard put these days to find a house without an aircon in the main room and ceiling fans everywhere else. But when you look at the older designed houses, it's a bit different. But where I was going before Jordan wanted to bring his thing up, which is a good point, by the way. That's actually, wow. Every time that we bring that up, we've brought that up multiple times in the past. Every time you bring it up, it's like, fuck, I haven't been thinking about that lately.
But you even look present, right? The apps on our phones. 20 years ago, you'd have to drive down to mum and dad's fish and chip shop to get takeaways or McDonald's or something. Now, I can order Uber Eats, sit on my phone, watch my order get packed, picked up, and delivered to my front door without me even leaving the couch.
And Jordan, Aden, the human brain, humans, they want to be comfortable. That's our natural, and these apps and things like that, like Uber Eats and all that, really cater for that. Cater for that, feeling comfortable and being at home and not doing what we were previously doing.
Even where me and Adrian used to live in Brisbane, we used to get drone deliveries. Your local convenience store could literally drop you off a packet of chips, a packet of Tim Tams, and a soft drink, all delivered via drone from a general grocer a kilometre away.
If you told me that 10 years ago, I would have been like...
I would have never have believed you.
I would have been... That's incredible. Now? Okay. Yep.
I mean, I'm just going to say this, but drones are fucking awesome, by the way. I love them.
Photos. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
They're really good. So I'll go back to what I was going to mention earlier. There's this story that I read, I looked into. It's about what the world would look like, not in the year like 2100 or 3000. This was in the 41st millennia. So we're talking thousands of years, right? The world perspective that they gave us of what Earth is then compared to now is absolutely mind-blowing. So he wrote it as, the world has been through a second industrial revolution. So imagine what a second one would look like today, right?
Oh God, I don't even want to imagine that.
And then, so that's that. And then there was a phase where the world was basically dead and unhospitable, right? But people were living underground because of technology. And then they resurfaced when the surface was fine again. There is no water left on the planet because now the planet's covered in a metal sheet. And there is literally, the planet is now literally a giant city, unbroken.
Well,
and the worst part, never mentioned hovercrafts. Your hover skateboards and shit. It's like, where's that? But then again, this fantasy I read, it's literally a story of how humanity spread out over the universe. Like, literally, we inhabit Mars, and that's where they do all the advanced technological creations now in this story. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to just say what it is. It's called Warhammer 40k. And funnily enough, that's a tabletop game.
Huh.
But it's got so much massive lore. Earth isn't even called Earth. Earth is called Terra. So, and it's stated, Terra was once known as a planet called Earth. So when you look at that, is that something you can actually possibly see? Not like in 28,000 years or 38,000 years, which is when this takes place. But can you see something similar to that happening in the next, let's say, 100? Not to that extreme. I'm not going to go, no, I don't expect it to be, but what do you see?
I'm going to go real morbid.
Here we go.
I'm going to go real morbid because I do sit on the fence with this. on one side of my mind, I do think us as a human race are germs on this earth.
Yeah.
We have done so much destruction and devastation to this earth. You know, the Amazon rainforest, you know, is nearly called the Amazon desert now. You know, we have fucked this earth up beyond all recognition. So, you know, I don't see us living with our current growth the way we're going. I don't see us being on this earth for, you know, another millennia.
Well, indigenous populations and things, we're talking about thousands of years. They live very sustainable, you know. They live very sustainable communities, you know, and they were able, you know, with their agriculture, with their, you know, all that stuff that makes a living society, and that worked for a really long period of time. About, I guess, in our era, there are some incredibly smart people and come together. I guess we've really complicated things, and the human brain is like really the smartest compared to, you know, I don't know if you call smartest, but they've certainly got the most brain power, the most ability to, you know, do very technical things. Yeah.
Humans have the highest thinking capabilities of most species on the planet. In fact, there might only be maybe one or two that haven't evolved to the point where they can think like us, but give them time, they possibly could. They're not monkeys, by the way.
Aden,
Yes.
you got something to chime in?
Well, actually, dolphins. Dolphins are. I'm pretty sure they're. Are they the smartest creature?
In terms of like how their brain functions, yes, they have the potential to be smarter than any other creature on the planet.
That's why I pulled myself up a bit. I said the smartest, and then I sort of pulled myself up and I said,
Maybe.
that's why I reworded myself a bit. I was going to say smartest. Maybe we're not the smartest, you know.
Well, see, the only fact I know, or correlation that I know between humans and dolphins, are we are the only mammals that mate for pleasure. Every other living being on this earth mates to repopulate.
Yeah, that's very true. We literally consummate, big word, for pleasure more than anything else.
Adrian, tell me what that word means.
The bang bang. Look, I don't want to. But we literally, how we operate, sex for us is more pleasure than unnecessary. So, I mean, that's why, like, you see a lot of people, like, this is a topic we've got way down the line, but sex consumes some people. It's very bad because of how much pleasure they get from it. And when you compare us to other animals, you can literally see the difference. They don't sit there every day going, yes, I'm going to get some today. They go, I need to repopulate. I need to have children. We go, yes, the right chemicals have been released in my brain, and I'm hard. Let's go!
Oh, Jesus.
But
jeez.
can you tell me I'm wrong? You can't, because no other mammal does. On a technicality, there might be one species that does it, but he's way too related to us to count. Monkeys.
Yeah, but monkeys mate.
They don't mate, they do masturbate a lot.
Oh, there you go. I did not know that.
Depending on the breed of monkey. Chimpanzees are really bad for it, apparently.
I'd just like to summarise just the technology part.
Yes, please reel us back in.
I'm going to summarise the technology part and tell me what you think. I think advanced technology can have a lot of positives. I was listening to a futurist the other day when I was preparing for this, and he said, yes, some people think advanced technology is like going to be a utopia for the human. Well, he completely disagrees. He disagrees. There's a lot of positives, but it's certainly not going to bring a utopia. Well, like, you know, everything's going to be fixed by technology. No, there's going to be still a lot of complications with jobs, employment, and things like that.
So,
you know, and does that make sense?
Yeah, I want to stop you there for one reason.
Why?
Your vision of a utopia compared to mine and Jordan's, what we view as a utopia is completely different to the other.
Well, just a generalised term, as in.
I mean, personally, I kind of agree with him. Technology is not going to give us the utopia. What gives us the utopia is what we see it.
Like the people in Silicon Valley, like Silicon Valley, that's where places like that, those real advanced places where they're pretty much making the future as we speak.
Yeah.
Like basically places like that. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I agree. This is going to be something I'm pretty sure I can say. I can 100% agree with you on pretty much everything, though.
Yeah.
Because even though I'm a massive tech nut, you all can attest to this. I love my technology. I live on it. I breathe it. This isn't going to give me my utopia. I 100% agree with
But does it take away humans' purpose? Or
What is
part of a human being's purpose?
Every person has their own purpose for living.
That's right.
Some people live day to day. That's their purpose.
I don't need to be.
Some people
doom and
live.
gloom.
Some people live to create an impact on society. Have their name written in the history books. That's a purpose. Some people wake up just to get a hit.
Yeah.
That's their purpose.
But
Your purpose in life is not the same as everyone else's. So, humans' purpose is a very broad term that has way too many possibilities.
I want to sort of touch on that, and
Yep.
I think my viewpoint on that is that your purpose in life, what I think anyone's purpose in life, should be to be better than they were yesterday.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I can touch on that a little bit more and add just say one word. Your purpose in life should be to be happy. Because if you're not happy, your life's miserable.
Well, that's right. If you're not happy, there's no utopia, is there?
Exactly. So, in a way, that kind of is the same as what you just said.
Yeah.
So, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I thought it was very broad,
I mean,
the whole
that
utopia term.
you love me, get over
Yeah.
it. But that's in my opinion. That's what human purpose should be. Not only you're trying to better yourself compared to the previous day, but you should aim to always be happy. Doesn't matter how you go about it, so long as you're not making someone else's life miserable in the process, because otherwise you're just a cunt. Be happy.
No.
What puts a smile on your face, go do it.
No.
As long as it doesn't destroy someone else's life in the process, you crazy man.
To the list I created, I do have some other positive points there, but I'm just gonna, Adrian, boys, redirect me if you want to, but I think the also big thing, I guess, nuclear weapons, China, Russia, not going there.
I personally, I mean,
We don't have to go deep, but
we
we
can touch on it.
we can
because,
touch on it. We won't go deep.
It is quite prevalent
yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah, we won't go into particular.
The reason I don't want to touch on it isn't
Yeah.
the same reason as I've stated before. It's because we're getting close to the end of this episode and we can't keep going on tangents.
Okay.
We need to just keep this nice, concise,
Yeah.
give you a straight thought, don't go on a
Yeah,
tangent.
that's what I'm going to do. Yeah.
Thank you.
But we're not going any political correctness.
No, we've touched on that. I am...
No. I mean, it's not going to get you banned, is it?
Depending on what you say.
No, it won't, Adrian. Look, I'm not going to lie. This isn't to have a dig at you or the channel or anything at the moment, but YouTube's really not going to...
YouTube's not going to what? Sorry, you cut off the...
It's not... YouTube isn't going to look at what we're doing now yet until you grow platform.
That's a reason I don't want to touch on China and all that, because depending on what you say in the future can get basically us removed. So, I mean, I'm trying my best to avoid that at all costs, because...
Yeah, but by the same token, I have complete and utter faith in Trent to not say anything.
I do too, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just making it clear to him. Please think what you're going to say and keep in mind of how it's going to affect us down the line.
So when we recommence, I think what I'll do is I'll just say, look, I think the dynamic between the three largest powers in the world, China, Russia, USA, nuclear weapons, we really don't want that to happen. And you guys go, yeah, we recognise that, or no, this, and then we move on. But you know what I mean?
We recognise it, we don't like it, we don't want it to happen. That's basically how I see it. Jordan, do you agree with that one?
I think we should lean towards nuclear power for electricity, as it being a lot greener. Yes, when something goes wrong, it's fucking catastrophic.
Oh, hell yeah.
But in terms of
Warfare?
I'm glad that there was a treaty signed decades ago with countries stating that they're not going to use nuclear warfare.
Yeah.
I mean,
As for electricity standpoint, I watched some bit of a documentary, I think it was Bill Gates, where he wants to use the I can't even know the mineral that's in the pole, the radiation that it creates, uranium, that's it. He wants to reuse the old uranium rods that they've used to create additional power.
Yeah.
So, once it's depleted, he wants to get that extra bit more out of it to make it a bit more sustainable.
Yeah.
Something like that, I 100% agree.
In the thinking, yeah, using resources while you have, yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Alright, well, did you want to add to that one, Aden? Agree, disagree?
I completely agree with what Jordan's saying to me. But I kind of wanted to, now, I'm not going to go in political again, but I am going to touch on it. Now, what you were saying before is, we don't want to talk too much about China, because eventually...
And you really are cutting out a lot. You need to slow it down, mate.
Okay, all good. So what I'm saying is that, you were saying before about China, go into China too much, eventually that could see us cancel, right? But then this brings back the fact that this is where political correctness becomes an issue, because of, we can't share an opinion about this matter because we're scared that we're going to get cancelled down the track.
Yeah.
That's where it becomes an issue.
Yeah. I agree with you 100% on that. Unfortunately, that's just the world we live in right now.
Exactly.
So,
Like I alluded to before, you can have your opinion on whatever topic, and that's fine. But some opinions you just keep to yourself, and that's it.
And yeah, I feel like
that's what
we're gonna have to do for that particular one. So carry on with what you're doing for us there, Trent.
Yeah, sure. I guess our aging population. We do have an aging population, like the baby boomer generation.
We do have a topic way down the line that will go way more into depth in this one.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we can avoid talking about that one. No, I don't mean to sound rude. It's just we'll come back to that one when time permits. We are now at over an hour on this episode. We've really got to start wrapping this up.
Okay. But we talked about some positive stuff. We talked about a lot of negative stuff. But I think the positive thing is when you look at today's era, 21st century, 2022. Things on planet Earth, like, okay, you got climate change, got all these issues, but it's the most peaceful time that we've ever had. We've got a lot of complicated, weird issues right now, but really it's like you had World War II, you had all these wars, you had, economic depressions, etc. This is really the most peaceful time we have at the moment.
I agree, and
disagree. And that's a positive. Yeah. Look, I get there is still a lot of complicated issues, and there's still a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world. Absolutely, and there's still evil, all that. But it really is when you look at the world as from an outside perspective, it really is the most peaceful time.
Yeah, well,
for probably 50 years.
I'll say again, I agree and disagree, not for the reasons you might think, but like I said, we're short on time. I'm not going on a tangent, but it is a really good point you do make, though. I do more agree than disagree with you. I'll say that.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah, no, like I always am I'm on the fence with it. Yeah. I'm on the fence with it.
I'm next to him, except I'm leaning forward a bit more. So,
if you were to take us back to the beginning of the year or the end of last year where there wasn't the Russian threat of the Russian invasion in Ukraine.
Yeah.
I do think the last
50 years.
2 years, 18 months to 2 years has been the most peaceful that there is. There's less cars on the road. The canals in Venice actually become clear, because everyone was inside, and I don't know about you guys, but the world just seemed to be a lot more peaceful. There was a change in the air. It smelled a bit different. It smelled a bit cleaner.
Yep.
Aden?
Yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. Because there was another thing, I think it was China, where you could nearly, the areas were clearing up because the smog was going. It was crazy.
I think that was California.
It was California.
I think you're thinking about.
You could see California's smog over its cities clearing up. You could start seeing the skyscrapers from a lot further away.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of the same with Brisbane too. Brisbane kind of did it. Kind of had a smog clear up a bit more when we were living there. All right. Is there anything else, Trent? Or are we right to finish this one up?
Well, but I guess when humans band together with COVID-19, look how much in the space of 2020, 2 years. Look how much we've done.
Yeah.
We've got the vaccines gone up, ready. We've got these apps that you check in. No longer doing that. Got all these policies already in. All this stuff is already in place. You know what I mean? Within a space of 2 years. Sort of everyone banded together.
Well,
it just makes me think, if we were to get the biggest minds in the world, the smartest scientists, the richest men, the people with the best ideas, if we were to all get them in one conference room, just makes me, I guess joyful would be somewhat the right word. It makes me excited to think what we could accomplish having all these great minds in the one room.
Absolutely.
Agreed. I think Aden would agree too. Aden?
Yeah, no, definitely.
I think with respect, that's the main thing. To get away with that sort of human, over time, that pettiness that sort of humans can. I'm just talking very general, but when you bind that respect together, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, definitely. You got something else you want us to touch on there, Trent?
Or do you think you've covered everything that you really...
I've covered everything. Look, I wanted to talk a bit more about climate change, but I think Adrian wants to wrap this up.
We can touch on that another day, my man. It's just that, like I said, we did decide on a general time frame for these episodes, and we've already exceeded it. This is the second time in a row we've exceeded it. We've really...
Not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. It's just that...
some podcasts go for 2 hours.
I know. That's the point, though. It's just that we have a lot to do today. We don't exactly have the time for this.
Listen, I'm going to side with Adrian, and that's... Look, I get where some podcasts do go for a long period of time, but we probably should at the maximum
of an hour.
Fair call. All right, call it a day. Yeah. For this podcast.
Well, Trent, you have been an amazing guest today. I want to thank you so much for being here, my friend. You have probably given us some of the best conversations we've had so far, and I really am looking forward to having you on for another episode in the future. Thank you so much for being out here, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much, gentlemen. I really enjoyed the conversations that we've had. Yeah, it's been wonderful. Yeah.
I guess this is where we wrap things up for today. We'll start off. Aden, thank you so much for joining us once again. It is so awesome to have you here. You didn't have as much to say this time, but like you said, you preferred just listening to us three more than yourself. And I think that was pretty damn decent of you, especially since we kind of had the most to say. So,
yeah, no, I agree.
Thank you again, Aden. Jordan, right-hand man, in this case left. Thank you again. This topic probably is one of the best ones that we could have had with you and Trent here together. Both really good views. It's probably going to be, personally, already this is one of my favorite episodes because of how much we covered, and the fact that you let me go on a tangent about the mysteries of the ocean alone. Thank you, because because that's something I rarely get to talk about.
Yeah, no, I wanted to cut you off about halfway through, and I was like, I'll let you go. I'll let you go.
But you have to admit, that's always a good thing to think on. But again, awesome to have you here again, Jordan. I always am happy with that you're here with me, and because you're my co-host. Also, because of this podcast, thank you for setting up the Instagram page. Go check us out on Instagram. Literally, the Opinionated Aussies. Jordan basically runs that one the most. So if you want to see the fine work of this man, go look at that. He'll be getting to work on that a lot more as we get more episodes out. So go check that out for us, would you? Maybe give us a follow. I don't know. That's all up to you. But at least show some appreciation to Jordan, because that's pretty much his biggest contribution to our social medias.
That's right. It's my pleasure. Go give Aden a follow at Ados the Great on YouTube.
And any other social media website, you can find him on TikTok, Twitter. He's got a Facebook page. Go check out Aden as much as possible. Give him some love. He's actually the one who gave us the first promo. I don't think we ever touched on that one.
No, I don't think we did. Aden, thank you so much, man. That was amazing, and I appreciate it.
I also will be releasing my own promo on my own YouTube since I've just come back to that one. So hopefully I don't outdo Aden. I'll do my own flair on it. So you can always find Jordan at Instagram as well on his own for Geordie0994. Where can they find you, Trent?
I'm having a break from social media for a while, so I deactivated my account.
Oh, good stuff.
Okay.
So I still have them, but at the moment I'm just...
Alright, you can find Trent on all of our social medias because he'll probably be there too. But otherwise, until Trent reactivates his, I don't have a link for you. I'm sorry. But thanks, Trent. Always a pleasure to have you here, mate.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
And I was your other host, Adrian. You will find me at AGO on YouTube as well as AGO Gaming on Twitter. I have a Facebook page. Don't worry about that one too much. I have an Instagram, but just look for the Opinionated Aussies because my Instagram's very lackluster. Other than that, that has been the Opinionated Aussies on Well Perspectives. Thank you all for listening. We're going to sign out, and we'll see you all in the next episode. Fellas?
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, thank you.
Aden?
Thank you all so much for tuning into this one.
Thank you all for bearing with a very long episode. We love yous. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good day, guys.